Yeah.
We have a new pope, and I gotta tell you, I have been like warming to this guy,
Yeah.
Pope Leo. When he was first appointed, my reaction was the guy's from Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
He's part of the Francis sort of legacy, if you will. And so I don't have high hopes for this guy. He's
Mhm.
probably a leftist, a Democrat, and he's probably bought into a whole bunch of the left's causes, which, as you know, are very similar worldwide. So he's another Francis.
Yeah.
But in the few indications, and I admit that there are quite few, and the few things I've been able to learn about him since, I'm coming to a different view.
Mm-hmm.
That this guy is, in fact, a genuinely good guy. He is a truly holy man. I don't know, Francis. I'm reluctant to say he wasn't, but I don't know that he was. This guy seems like he is. Not only that, but his statements, when you listen to them carefully, and I played one for you, we listened to it together. He was talking about the media, and he was talking about the subtext of articles and news shows, and how we have to develop critical tools to read between the lines, excavate the agenda that's driving.
Mm-hmm.
So anyone who talks like this
Yeah.
is onto something.
Right.
Now, he was very careful not to speak in an ideological way. He didn't say the left, he didn't say the Democrats, but he made it somewhat clear what he was talking about. And even you began to kind of smile as if to say, well, this guy,
I think reading between the lines
of what he's saying,
I think, yeah.
Right?
Right. Yeah. And you also said that he was very neutral, or more center right on the immigration issue, which we thought he wasn't, right?
He had made some critical social media posts about Trump in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And but as sometimes happens, you take a critical stance, but your full position is not clear. So, for example, your position might be that don't just grab people off the street and send them to their home countries.
Mm-hmm.
So you criticize Trump for doing that. But then you can infer that this person has the view, let all the illegals in. As it turns out, that is not his view. So his view is this, and that is that we should have immigration policies in Western countries that respect the dignity of human beings, that recognize that there are people all over the world that, for understandable reasons, are looking for a better life and more opportunity. But nevertheless, we have an immigration policy that also respects the desire of the people who are here to be safe and to be able to decide what pace of immigration they want. In other words, it's kind of like saying, I might be able to take a couple of new members of my family or new people into my home, but I can't take an unlimited number of people. So if there is a tragic situation elsewhere, I may go, hey, listen, I'm willing to take a couple of people and extend hospitality to them, but I get to decide what that number is. So I think the Pope, as far as I can tell, does have this kind of balanced view. Now, obviously, this is a tentative assessment, and we'll see how it plays out.
And the other thing about climate change, I think, is that he's like, we need to, it's our obligation to take care of our planet because God gave it to us to take care of, right? But he doesn't like the idea of politicizing it or forcing people to pay for, taxes that are like above and beyond what they should as far as climate change legislation. And so I think in that sense, he is, I don't know what he thinks about man-made climate change, but he definitely thinks that there should be a balance there too.
And it may well be that he has been subjected. If you're not in the political world and completely attentive to what's going on, the propaganda can get to you.
Right.
The other thing about him, and I played a little video for you to watch where his brother was calling him on the phone,
funny.
right?
Yeah.
And the reason I mentioned that is because it shows that with this Pope, there is a down-to-earth human dimension that's very Trumpian.
Yeah.
You know, in other words, he doesn't, the first thing he says when his brother calls him is like, hey, listen, why don't you ever answer your phone? Right? Which is something you wouldn't think of the Pope saying.
Yeah.
You know? In the Soviet Union, totalitarianism came with gulags, secret police, and brute force. But in the West, it looks different. It's soft, it's subtle, it comes cloaked in compassion and compliance. Live Not by Lies by Angel Studios is a new docuseries that exposes how this soft totalitarianism is already taking root in America and beyond. Based on Rod Dreher's best-selling book, the series shares the testimonies of men and women who lived through communist regimes and now see disturbing parallels in today's world. They warn of the dangers of conformity, the erosion of religious freedom, and the rise of ideological control in schools and businesses. But this isn't just a warning, it's a call to action, a reminder that truth is worth standing for. If you care about faith, family, and freedom, Live Not by Lies is required viewing and only available on Angel Guild. Join today by visiting angel.com/Dinesh and stream Live Not by Lies along with hundreds of other films and shows. That's angel.com/Dinesh.